priests were so much loving Israel, they were loving so much, that they had the power with their words of reshaping the dreams, or bringing the dreams down to the world. So therefore, when someone blesses me, when the priest blesses me, this is the time to ask that the dreams should be good. It's something very, very strong. The truth is that the holiest Jew in the world, everybody knows, the real holiest who was the utmost of holiness was Yosef HaTzaddik, right? Joseph. And his whole thing were dreams, right? He became a king in dreams. He got out of prison because he interpreted the dreams of the butler and of the baker, and he became a king because he interpreted the dream of Pharaoh. He was a tough man on dreams. What's the thing of Yosef? Yosef was the utmost that we can have in a conception that of holy thought. This was his holiness. Yosef was the utmost of holy thought. And since Yosef was the utmost of holy thought, his words were so pure that he could mamish interpret dreams. He could take a dream of Pharaoh and feed the whole world with that dream. Make a dream come real.
In order to interpret dreams, that they're pure thoughts.
Yeah. You see, dream was a special thing because the pagans complained to God, why don't you give us a little prophet? It was like a special thing. The God took one of their top people, and showed them what level they are on, But this is it's a completely different thing, What? Wait, let me first finish the whole thing. Okay, let's see. Listen to this, it's very, very strong stuff. What's the whole thing? Listen very carefully. Why are we dreaming at night? Why are we dreaming at night? Because at night, the only thing which you have is imagination. The only thing. And at night, and the greatest vessel for a dream is imagination. So now Reb Nachman says something the most way out thing. The strongest imagination you need is to believe that God created heaven and earth. Way out thing. I said, we really need imagination. You look into the world and you see there's a world solid. Right? You need the strongest, the holiest kind of imagination really to believe that God created heaven and earth. So it says Yosef HaTzaddik, who had the utmost purity of thought, he was the one who really knew that there's one God. And he says, all the holy tzaddikim, all the holy people, all the prophets, they had this strong imagination that really knew there was one God by imagination. And if you have this tremendous imagination, not only you can receive dreams, you can even interpret dreams and make uplift someone else's dreams. And now listen to one more sweet, beautiful thing. He says like this. I think it's really very strong. What is stronger imagination? Imagining a great theory or imagining a good story? So listen to this. Reb Nachman says that the soul is only stories. Because the fact is, when you dream, you don't dream of a theory, maybe while you're awake. But when you're dreaming, you only dream stories, right? Maybe in the story of the dream, maybe you spoke to someone and you told him your theory, right? But a dream is not a theory, because the real imagination is the story, right? That's what a dream is all about. A real dream is a story. And he says, listen to this, there are two kinds of stories. There are stories which put you to sleep when you listen to them, they put you to sleep. And there are stories which wake you up. So he says the difference between the dreams, the stories of the holy people and of the unholy people is like this. The dreams, the stories of the unholy people put you more to sleep. That means while they are sleeping, they're dreaming of stories and puts them more to sleep. And the tzaddik, the holy person, dreams of a story which wakes him up, wakes up the whole world. But then he said the truth is, everybody has to know that the dream comes from the highest, from the deepest secrets of the world. means in the dream of the lowest creature in the world, it's full of the greatest secrets of the world, mysteries of life. And the only one who is really in tune with that is this holy person who has this holy imagination, tremendous holy imagination. Let's put it this way, you know. How far can you go with unholy imagination? How far can you go? Because everything is finite, right? How far can you go? You can dream of killing the world. That's how far you can go, right? The end of the world. And holy imagination is completely infinite. It's not the destruction of the world. You can even imagine that there's one God who's beyond all that. Completely infinite. Way out of imagination. So therefore he says, if a poor person goes to sleep, this is what you have to ask for. The first thing you have to ask for, please, you know, you put in the word of the Bracha that let my imagination be so pure that my imagination should be a vessel for the dream century. Listen, I just want you to listen to it once more and think of it very, very deep. You know what's happening at night? At night, you know, the new day is coming down, right? It's coming down to this world. Great lights are coming down to the world. I'm sleeping. I'm receiving already my future life. Whatever will happen to me, you know, it comes to me down on the level of a dream, right? And then I have to bring it down to the world. Because what gives me the strength to live another day? The dream I had last night. The question is, what did you dream about? How did you receive that dream? If my imagination is way out, I believe that there's one God. I can imagine there's one God, right? Then, Gewalt, next morning I wake up and my imagination is so holy, I'm full of life, right? And I have a story for the world which wakes up the whole world, bring the world back to life. My dream can bring the world back to life. Because the truth is, Yosef was so holy, not only his dream, but his first dream that he will be the king of the world and he will feed the world, brought life to the world. Even his lifting up the dream of Pharaoh of this low creature. He was able to lift up his dream, and via this dream he brought life to the world, right? Because he became the king and he's feeding the whole world. That means Yosef HaTzaddik, Yosef was on the level, he was on the level of the holiest imagination of the world. Now listen, this is very deep, I think it's very, very beautiful. You see, there's a lot of people who are imagining God, that there's one God, right? But they're imagining it on a level of theory, which is not real, it's not a dream. It has to be on the level of the story, you know? Of the real story. If you imagine God, if you can imagine God on the level of a story, and then you come to the world and you tell them the dream, there really is one God, you wake them up. You see, there are people who are imagining God on the level of imagination without the story, and the real people imagine God on the level of a story, which is the level of a dream. Okay, who wants to say something strong about this? It's tough stuff. What do you say, Holy Moshe, the tough man on dreams?
I remember you mentioning about Joseph that he was really the holiest because he was the one who saw God in the dream. When Abraham saw God during the day.
No, not because of that, because, you know, he had... No, not that, because he was the first Jew who was all alone. He was all alone, you know. He was a slave and he was a king, and the wife was there on the whole thing, being a king, and he didn't deviate one item. Okay, this is the core of his holiness. It might have been manifested in many other ways. So what do you want to say, Holy Moshe?
The first thing was in terms of people that are waking other people up, people that are putting people to sleep, and they either come from a place in their heart that either has seeds or in their heart places where they're actually great putting people.
You know, it's really good listening to you, you know? Because when I say it, I don't listen, I just say it. When I hear you, you know? You know what I think while you're talking to me, Holy Moshe, I felt something very strong. You know, like you put it, what are dead dreams and what are living dreams? Dreams I believe in are living dreams, right? dreams I don't believe in anymore, they are dead dreams, right? Why do some people dream and put the world to sleep? Because they don't believe themselves in the dreams, right? The dead dreams, right? Why did Yosef HaTzaddik dream dreams and they woke up the world? Because he believed in it. So maybe the tzaddik is the holy, and the priests are the one who give you this holiness to believe in your dreams, and then your dreams are holy again, and the living dreams. You think it's a good idea? That believing in God is always on the level of the dream. Always on the level of the dream. Because just believing in God, right? I don't see Him. Always on the level of I'm dreaming, right? I don't want to wake up. You know, this is the most waking up dream in the world. I'm dreaming that there's one God. That's the dream which wakes me up the most. You know? This will wake up the whole world ultimately, that there is one God. This great dream. But you see, we always talk about dreams to mean it's a dream is nothing. But he means to dream, he means it's still between, it doesn't have definite vessels yet. We don't have vessels for it yet. It's just in the level of